So, Don, Slavi, welcome to our office in Mannheim. But today we are not only welcoming you as two great people, but we are also welcoming a new company that you represent, and the company is called AIOps Group. Don, can you tell us something about AIOps Group?
First of all, thank you for having us. We're very excited to be here, to be part of the family. We're looking forward for future growth. As far as AIOps Group, we're a digital consulting company that's focusing around data, technology, and e-commerce.
Looking at AIOps Group, it's fascinating. The company is relatively young, Slavi. I think founded in 2019, although the individuals working in the company have, of course, way more professional experience. And you already grew the company to 170 people. That must have been a challenge. Can you tell us how you made that happen?
It was a challenge indeed. So we're a relatively young company, but we have more than 20 years experience, most of us, in the software business. And the last 12 to 13 years, they've been mostly e-commerce. And some of the team members, they built some of the biggest e-commerce sites in the world, different technology stacks, different architectures. So the team is pretty experienced. And that's one of the things that really helped us grow so much. So we are able to really build trust with the customers, select the right technology for them, and then not only select it, but go and deliver after that, this technology, so the customers can really get the benefits out of these solutions. And that's how we managed to grow.
Slavi, can you maybe talk about one customer reference that you are allowed to mention and about a project for that customer?
I think one of the work that we are really proud with, that's what we have done for Puma over the time. So if we take Puma as an example, we have done Puma UK on headless. We have also done Puma for other places, but what we also have done is for Puma on Salesforce for the entire Africa, which was a project delivered for, I think, 5 to 6 months for 10 plus countries in Africa. So the entire digital delivery for Africa was done by us.
So you know, at Valantic we have a mission. We want to be the most respected digital solution provider in Europe. That being said, what is the secret superpower that AIOps Group add to that? Don, maybe you start.
Sure. Well, as I mentioned, there are a lot of companies out there or digital agencies focusing on one solution or deployment of certain e-commerce platform, and typically that's where they stop. The question is, what happens after that? For us, it's all about long-term relationships, customer for life. That's the modus operandi. But in order to do this, you have to have tools and processes in place. What happens after implementation? This is where our proprietary solution, AIOps Monitoring, which is, by the way, the best monitoring solution for Salesforce Commerce Cloud around the globe today, comes into play. This is where we have a real-time monitoring. We monitor performance, and then this is coupled with our 24/7 critical team that we have in-house. So you have a dedicated team working behind the scene, making sure that sites are operational and they run smoothly. So this is the biggest differentiator between us and other agencies that are doing e-commerce.
I would say so. That sounds really like a secret superpower. You mentioned two interesting things. First is Salesforce, which we have to talk about, and the second one is the monitoring solution. And I assume it's not technology monitoring. I assume it's monitoring on the business side of things. Slavi, can you explain how that works?
No, absolutely. It's indeed both. It's monitoring on the technology, but monitoring also on the business side. And for example, as I mentioned, we've been in this business for the past 12 plus years, and we've seen a lot of success. However, we've seen also a lot of failures. And by failures, I'll give you just a few samples. We had a customer, and they uploaded by mistake around 10 products with price 0. And they got 800 orders placed with these products. So they lost quite a lot of money out of that. Or we had another case where Klarna, as a payment instrument, it disappeared from a customer website and no one knew. There were no errors, nothing displayed, and the customer understood about it like a week later. So what we are able to catch now is pretty much any discrepancies, and they might be technical. They might be like, let's say, your payment is not working, or the payment velocity went down for a certain instrument, or let's say your taxation is broken, or you have products with price zero, or products without images on the website. So we are able to catch about, I think now, more than 200 different alerts and thresholds. So different problems. Half of them are more on the technical side, but half of them are really on the business side.
Wow, that really sounds fascinating, this monitoring solution. I can imagine the first time you saw that in action. That must have been a moment that you still recall, Don. Do you still have that in memory?
Absolutely. When we saw the numbers, we're like, it can't be true. We need to verify this 3 times before we communicate back to customer. And they were true, actually. So,
and what happened then?
Well, then we had a company-wide meeting to discuss numbers and how we're going to communicate this back to the world, right? How are we going to enhance solution? What's next? Who are we going to reach out to? So that was amazing, and we've seen amazing numbers and ROI with customers such as Puma, Acne Studios, MCM Worldwide, such as.
That sounds like a service with a very, very short return on investment. Don, I don't know, are you allowed and able to share some specific success stories with clients? Because it really sounds like you get the investment back pretty fast when you basically subscribe to that service, right?
True, you couldn't be more right about that. There's the data, basically. We've been monitoring these solutions and collecting feedback from customer and what solution itself is doing, actually. For us, it's all about results, tangible results. Either we are reducing maintenance costs with this solution, or we are capturing additional revenue. What's important to mention is that most customers don't even know that they have these issues, or they learn about these issues after 3 days, 7 days, 1 month. But during that period, they lost so much in terms of revenue. So depending on the customer and the size, we found out that anywhere between 8 to 12% there is a revenue loss due to issues that are known and unknown to customer. So for us, it's easy win when it comes to ROI for customers. Investment, it's incomparable to what you get out of it, basically. Within the first 30 days, you can see immediate results where solution is being paid for already. Even detecting and fixing one single issue during the sales season, you know what happens in terms of ROI there. So let alone for entire year. And this could be different types of issues as far as systems, third-party systems, such and such. And there's also important thing to mention, correlation between these KPIs. There's, as Slavi mentioned, there's 200 and plus business KPIs that you can monitor, and basically it really helps you run your business. There is no such solution today in the marketplace.
Which is fantastic, and 8 to 12% of revenues, that can easily be a lot. Everybody can do the math. But at the same time, I mean, this is really fantastic, but I think it would be unfair and not appropriate to reduce AIOps Group to just the monitoring solution, because you are in fact doing so much more. And we are meeting in the jungle here today. It's a little bit, let's say, symbolic, because some of our clients also feel like they are in the jungle of technological disruption, new technologies coming up everywhere. What is your view on, let's say, trends in the e-commerce industry?
As I mentioned, it's about data, but what we're still seeing some legacy systems out there and outdated systems and applications. And one of our things that we are doing, or services and solutions that we offer, is platform or technology evaluation services for our customers. When it comes to replatforming or picking a new technology, it's always a question, who's the best one or what's the best for that brand? So I think being able to do application rationalization for a customer and make use of it, what's already existing, and then offer something new, it's the key here. You mentioned Jungle. You can compare Jungle to a lot of systems right out there, but are they talking to each other? What is the total cost of ownership? What is the process? Do I have the right team inside the house to support all these applications? So going back to your comment, not to limit only to monitoring, this is a kind of strategic part that we do for a customer. But then, of course, we do implement various technologies or e-commerce platforms post these discoveries. So strategy, implementation, support. So we're a full lifecycle offering that we have.
Yeah, and that connects very well with Valantic because, as we just discussed already, our mission is to become the most respected digital solution provider in Europe. If you apply that to commerce, it means that first and foremost, we have to be consultants. We have to put our clients center stage, right? And our clients have broad arrays of technology, and we have to be good at many technologies, but we also have to be able to recommend to our clients what actually the best next step would be. So Slavi, that, because you are focusing more on delivery and on team, that must be a big challenge for you, I assume, because you have to kind of predict where the demand of the future will be coming from.
That's true. And the way we see it is that over the next years, we'll see more and more focus when we talk on an architecture, more on composable architecture. So people being able to really kind of break down these monolithic solutions really into smaller components that are more and more independent from each other. So that way, if you need to replace just the payment gateway, you just go and do it. You need to switch something else, and everything else is also going to be done with on-off switch. If you want to have, let's say, 20 different countries, and you want to enable or disable certain features, it's going to be more like on the shelf. You just go and say, I want this, this, and this, and you just click the switch, and you are done with that part. So that's one focus where we do really expect to grow. The other one is anything related to artificial intelligence. And that includes everything. That includes from one side a much more personal touch with the customer, much better 360 view, what the person is doing, what exactly is his or her behavior, what exactly they are looking for, where they are looking it for, and being able also to connect with them on all the different channels and interfaces. That's another key area that is going to continue growing. It's already quite developed, but there is also quite a lot to go. The other thing that it's also growing, but I do expect this to go on the next level, it's anything related to augmented reality. Mm-hmm. So, because right now, if you look at even the return rates, that's killing a lot of the e-commerce businesses. That's crazy high cost. And we've seen cases where a brand is selling like crazy, quite a lot of certain product, but then it turns out that that's their most return product as well. So they were actually losing money out of that. So being able really to kind of put the customer really to see what they are buying, how it's going to look at them, everything else, or even if you go and buy furniture, that's going to really become on a next level, much easier to use compared to what it is now. Mm-hmm. And I think these are several of the major areas where we are really going to see focus over the next years.
To slightly shift the conversation, everything you have explained already is fantastic. The question is, of course, then why have you joined the Valantic family? I mean, what were the reasons for you to join?
As Slavi mentioned, we had a tremendous growth, organic growth as a company, working with amazing brands today. For us, it was what is the next stage, whether we were going to continue growing organically or find a company or partnership that will accelerate this growth. So through the process, I think Valantic checked all the boxes for us in terms of not only opportunity, but as you mentioned, Uwe, in terms of culture, value, as well. But one point I would like to make is definitely decentralized model that Valantic is running that allows you to run your operations somewhat independently within a larger group. So this was also the key for us to be able to care for customer in the same way we're doing today, but also to be able to offer all other services and solutions as a larger group can offer. From that perspective, we can cross-sell and upsell and deliver many solutions now to our customers. At the same time, we are now part of the most respected digital agency in Europe, and this makes us one-stop shop for multi-cloud delivery for Salesforce. We're talking about 1,000 CX experts, more than 300 Salesforce experts in our organization with high customer satisfaction, high quality, and it's going to be very hard to beat this over the next few years.
I would definitely say so, yeah, absolutely. So this is, I mean, this is also something that I still find very, very appealing. We have this philosophy of combining entrepreneurial spirit with the concept of one company, which isn't always easy, right? But as we typically explain it to our clients, when the client speaks with us, usually the client directly speaks with a decision maker, for example, a managing director. But nevertheless, that one person will speak with one voice and speak for the entire group of companies, which I really think is unique in the market.
So, Uwe, I think it's important to mention that we wouldn't even be here discussing the opportunities in front of us if it wasn't for our people and employees at AIOps Group who helped us actually to get here. So I would like to hear from you if you can explain a little bit what's next for AIOps Group and in terms of training or career path, if you can elaborate.
For the people, yeah. Thanks, Don. I would say it's three things. The first thing is all people within AIOps Group now have roughly 1,000 additional colleagues in 30-odd offices in Europe. And that is only in Valantic CX. The entire group is, of course, much bigger. With that, automatically come new perspectives in terms of from where do you work, for which client do you work, interesting, challenging projects and client work. The second thing is additional technologies, because despite the fact that you are already quite broad, without any doubt, we have way more technology stacks that we are working on within the group. Shopware, Spryker, SubCX, and many more to be named. So that creates new perspectives for your people. And in order to tap into that and to train our people, we have put in place career paths and a learning framework, an academy even, and all this becomes available for your people too.
So Uwe, another question regarding UI, UX, and creative services inside the Valantic Group. Could you elaborate a little bit more around that and how it's being done today?
Yeah, thanks, Don. I think in fact, it's even more than just UI, UX and technology, because the third aspect is business. And my thinking framework is the perfect solution has three qualities. It is desirable, it's feasible, and it's also viable. Viable in terms of there is a sound business model behind that. Feasible means it's technologically well implemented and it's desirable too. People want to use it, right? And everybody is mad about this focal point, this overlap between these three circles, if you will, right? And this is how I see the industry. And I think the holy grail is if a company gets there, if a company really perfectly organizes and orchestrates all the skills so well that it operates within this overlap of the circles. And that is what we want to do within Valantic CX, which is one of the divisions that Valantic has. But in fact, the story is even broader, because everybody is talking about full service nowadays. But in fact, if you operate in the digital agency space, then End-to-end typically means from user concept to CX implementation. But let us not forget that in the end you have a lot of supply chain management and fulfillment too, right? And with our additional divisions within Valantic, we are able to really go very, very deep into the business processes, not only in terms of specification, but also in terms of realization. And that's really where the magic happens. If we do a fast forward, let's say it's end of April 2024, and we are looking back at the last 12 months that for us in the normal time flow, of course, start now. What would you say? And maybe we start with you, Slavi. What have we then achieved? What was our biggest achievement?
I think our biggest achievement will be really we to not be calling ourselves AIOps Group anymore, but Valantic. So really feel as part of the company, being fully integrated, acting as one company. That's what I would consider as the biggest achievement. Then obviously we do hope that we can get a lot of projects that we do together with the other departments of Valantic and to see exactly accelerated growth. When we started this process with Valantic, we called this project Project Accelerator. Mm-hmm. And I think it exactly matches what we do expect from it.
Don, I think Project Accelerator, I'm sure you have to add to that.
A little bit, right? Just a little bit. We are a little bit on performance side, right? So anything we do, it is around performance, results, and it comes from some other place. But as Slavi mentioned, I hope to be fully integrated if there is such integration, because we are here working with Valantic, where entrepreneurship and decentralized model is something very important. So I don't expect any road bumps when it comes to this. So that's one part. Of course, new projects, but not just new projects that we would bring. These are mutual projects, actually, that we need to work together. Not only deliver, but also provide value proposition for customers, go together through the sales process, go through the RFP process together, and then also deliver and manage these customer relationships as a one group. And I think it would be very nice to see a few large customers benefiting from multiple clouds or multiple CX divisions, because each CX division have their own specialty in that area. And breaking these silos actually into one solution, this would be amazing.
This is where the magic happens, absolutely. Yeah. And we have in fact already started to work together.
Exactly.
For some clients in some sales pursuits, so that has already started.
Yeah, that's one of the things that indeed surprised me quite positively, that we've been collaborating only for the past 2 months, but we are already bidding for 4 accounts in common together with the other Valantic teams. And it's for big brands, like that pretty much everyone knows. So I really think that's a successful start of the collaboration.
Very, very auspicious, I would also say so. The demand is high at the moment. I think Valantic is positioned very well in the market, so the demand finds Valantic, so to say. And it also shows that you are adding a critical puzzle piece to the overall picture. Apparently a puzzle piece that wasn't there before, right? Otherwise, I think this would not have happened so fast. Thanks for the conversation. It was very, very interesting. I'm looking forward to a joint bright future, and I'm looking actually forward to in 12 months from now, where we'll meet again at this place and look back at the year. And I'm personally also looking forward to collaborating with you closely and intensively. So thanks a lot.